Well, that rain is moving in on us, but I wanted to get out here and show this to you right quick. We've already had our early daffodils bloom and die back, but it was 2 weeks ago when I was walking out there in that grass, and it's kind of hard to tell, but that stuff's almost knee deep now. I tell you, I got to get out here and start mowing the yard. Of course, you people up New England, y'all mow the snow. All right, well, let me get in here and let's talk about gardening. By the way, right there is where my garden's going to be. Well, let's get in here and talk about it. Well, how y'all doing? We're going to be talking about getting seeds started. Now, I've already put out some videos, you know, cheap places to get seeds from, you know, like saving the seeds out of the vegetables you cook, that kind of thing. Or even if you want to plant beans, buy a bag of dried beans at the grocery store. You can plant them, they'll grow. And popcorn, you can buy a bag of popcorn. You plant your own popcorn. I've done it. It's cool as can be. And that's a real interesting thing for you to do for your children or grandchildren, is grow some popcorn. That will amaze the kids to see where popcorn really comes from. It's neat as can be. Anyway, what I wanted to do, I want to talk to you today about getting your seeds started, because here it is towards the end of March. Our last frost here in Tennessee is April 15th. And I'll get a wild hair and I'll start seeds in January. Of course, by the time it's time to plant them, I've done got too early going with them, and then, you know, it's a mess. So I just started mine a few days ago. I think probably Saturday night or Sunday, not sure. I know my wife had the day off, and we just sat here and did these seeds, so I'm thinking it was Sunday. But anyway, here it is Thursday, and I've already got seeds sprouting, and I'll take the camera over and show you in a minute. Well, I'm sure you have gone to your garden center and you've seen those plastic trays, the black plastic tray that now they're made out of a plastic, it's called styrene usually, and it gets exposed to sunlight and it just crumbles up. It's no good. You can't really save them and use them again a year later, that kind of thing. But I already had my plan how I was doing mine, but I was at Lowe's and I saw that they had these that were 72 compartment. In other words, you plant 72 seeds. And all it was just a plastic insert that set into a plastic pan. And you had all these little long shaped, I want to say pyramid shape. They weren't real pyramids, but anyway, these long, narrow little sections there. And that was what you put your dirt in, then put your seed, and the idea is to be like hydroponics in a way. Now I'm looking at this, I'm saying, oh my God, I've been doing this for years, but I sure have been doing it a lot cheaper. They wanted $7 and something for these pieces of plastic, and they didn't have no dirt with them, didn't have no seeds with them, didn't have nothing. Just $7, and I want to say $7.50 or $7.20, and it was 72 little sections. I'm going, they're all crazy. You gonna go out? Go. So anyway, what I do to start my seeds is I make what I call planting tubes. Now, I did not invent this idea. I saw it from somebody else several years ago. And theirs is actually shorter than mine. They're little short, fat plant pots. And the idea being is you plant your seed in there, made out of newspaper, and then you can transplant them easily. Well, you know me, I gotta do things my way. So what I decided to do is go with a taller one. This is my plant pot. It has a bottom in it. And you put your dirt in it. And of course your seed is planted near the top, because a good rule of thumb is you only plant your seeds twice as deep as they are thick. Okay? Example, you've got a pepper seed, a tomato seed. It's a real tiny seed, okay? It doesn't need to be planted very deep at all. Matter of fact, I think they say on the package it's a 1/4 inch, which ain't much. But anyway, when you plant a tomato, you fill your thing up with dirt, poke an indentation in there, or put your seed right there on top, poke it a little bit with your finger, then sprinkle a little bit more over it, or pinch the dirt shut around it. But what this does is I set this down in a plastic pan, and when I've got my pan full, then I pour water in the pan, and then I'll sprinkle water over the top. And these right here, I was using them in my greenhouse a couple years ago, and because I wasn't there every day, by golly, they dry out quick, because this newspaper acts as a wick, and it'll wick that moisture right out. Well, here in the house it's not so bad, because I'm with it, you know, every day, and I can check and water it. But that newspaper really helps hold moisture around that dirt without your plants drowning. And as they grow, the roots will actually grow right through that paper. It's neat as can be. Pardon me. And then you plant this whole thing. You don't have to unwrap it. You plant the whole thing in the ground, and it'll take off from there. If you want to unwrap it, knock yourself out. But your plant's going to be a whole lot healthier if you keep that dirt, you know, constrained around that root system. Okay? Anyway, let me show you how to make these. It's real simple. Now, let me find a paper. Okay. Get your newspaper. Now that right there is a full-size newspaper sheet. Okay? It's one sheet. Maybe a little smaller, I don't know. But anyway, we get these free papers in the mail. They come in folded in half, this size right here. And you may get them in your neighborhood as well. But what I'll do is I will take that paper I get, and it comes to me folded in half just like that right there. And what I will do is I'll go right up the middle of it here. And oh, this part that's got the spine on it, I'll just trim it. I'll just trim just a little bit of it off so they ain't holding together no more. So they're individual pieces again. Okay, anyway, let me pull one of these off. What I do is I'll take 2 fingers. I think you can see what I'm doing. And I'll just wrap that up. Make me a tube. And you don't have to make it real tiny, you don't have to make it real big, because you're just going to plant your seed in there, and eventually you're going to end up transplanting anyway. But if I was to guess, I would guess that is about 1 inch in diameter, you know, a little bit bigger than 1/4, okay? And where this corner is, that's your first place you fold it over. and you go the opposite side and you fold it over, or work your way around. In other words, the idea is just to fold this paper in on itself, and then I'll give it just a little bit more. I'll fold it again, just like making a tiny little roll, so to speak. Just like the roll on a coin wrappers. You know how that end is sort of, you know, thick. Well, that's all I'm doing, is I'm just rolling up the end of this. Don't have to be real pretty. All you're gonna do is plant with it. And there you go. I don't know if you can see that or not. Let's see here. Whew. Anyway. Anyway, now then I go to the other end and I look for the corner on the inside. I'll go about halfway across and I'll fold it over. Because what I want to do now is I want to make a bottom in here. And I'll just fold it over and just make myself a, all we're doing is we're making ourselves a little planting cup. Nothing fancy. And this is something you can do while you're sitting there watching TV. Now you could say, shoot, PawPaw, all that work right there, I can buy that daggone planter. You're only talking about 10 cents per section. Yeah. Remember, the name of my channel is called Doing It Cheap. And then I find where that outside corner is, and I do the same thing I did on the other side. I just fold this over, and I'm folding this over about 1/4 of an inch. And after I get it folded over all the way around, then I'll fold it again about 1/4 of an inch. Make sure I've got a good rim on this. And then I'll stick my finger down inside of it and make sure I've got that packed down. So, I can't tell if you can see this or not. Yeah, maybe, yeah. See how that's folded around in there? And then here's the bottom. See that? So, I'll take these, fill them full of my topsoil, and put them in a pan and water them. And I'm going to show you that in a minute now. Okay. Well, anyway, that's the way I do those. Now, the next thing I want to show you is if you don't have a dedicated thing made for doing this, which I do have at my farm, but I don't have here. It is a dirt sifter. You take some 2x4s, make you a square or rectangular frame. You set it over your wheelbar if you want to, and you shovel your topsoil onto this hardware cloth, which has like 1/2 inch diameter holes, or squares, or even 1/4 inch if you're trying to get real fine. Usually 1/2 inch is sufficient, or 3/8, somewhere around there. Anyway, the idea is you want to shake that topsoil and make sure there's no sticks or rocks or whatever that get into, potting your seeds. It's a different story if you're out in the garden, that's one thing, but when you're wanting to plant these little cups, it's something else. So let me show you what we got here. I'd like for you to see that my dirt that I'm using is really nice and fine. See that? And what I got this from, I got this potting soil from the Dollar Tree. And I'm the first to tell you, it don't come that nice. Matter of fact, here's a bucket, and all these pieces came out of 3 bags of it. So I'll end up using that in the garden, putting around the plants, almost like mulch. But what I do is I take this cheap thing of potting soil, and I get me a can, and the idea is just to get all the rocks and big sticks out of it, because I don't want to plant with that. Okay? And that's what I'll do. And that's the dirt then that I'll use in these little tubes. I've also been saving my dog food cans now, because that's what I'll transplant. That'll be the first thing I transplant into as the plants get bigger. Well, let me show you what I've been talking about. I know I've been teasing you with it. Let's go see the mighty operation here. These seeds were planted, I think it was Sunday, and today's Thursday. Well, there's been several that's popped up since this morning. And see if you can see, there's some water that's in there. And over here, I know that these are my cherry tomatoes. I planted these one day before these others over here, and I could see that I've got one little cherry tomato plant trying to come up. Come on, focus in here. Come on, there we go. One little cherry tomato. We'll just say that's the first one. Anyhow, oh, maybe there's some other activity going on over here. Let's see. Is that one trying? Maybe. That might be one trying to sprout right there, and one back there in the back. Now, the ideal light you want to use is actually 2 different bulbs. There's a warm and there's a cold. And if you were going to run you a hydroponic setup or indoor plants, and you want the full spectrum of light because they're never going to go outside, then you would use a warm and a cold bulb, and that would get you the full spectrum. However, if all you want to do is get seeds started like we're doing here, practically anything will work. The cool white is recommended as well as the daytime. I'd also like to show you that I took one of these juice jugs and I just poked some tiny holes in the top so that I can gently water the seeds. There we go. Now, back on the fat train video, I was telling y'all that I had a use for all this cardboard I've been sitting here saving. And I do. And it's going to be something I'm going to try new this year. I've never done it before, but I'm going to try it. I will be the first to admit that when it comes to weeding the garden, I get a little bit lazy. I'll be the first one to admit that. Okay? It just seems like the weeds and the grass just take over my garden, and I get depressed about it and get aggravated. So this year I'm going to use this cardboard as ground cover. This is my big plan, okay? Is I'm going to lay cardboard out in my garden and just let the plants stick up through holes I cut in the cardboard. Now, don't know if it's going to work or not, but I don't see why it won't. And the cardboard, once it gets sopping wet, you know how cardboard is, it just sticks to the ground. And it'll break up and you can actually till it, you take a rototiller and till it back into the dirt later. But that's what I plan to do, and that's why these cardboard boxes are all piled up here. We're going to see if we can't use them as a weed and grass barrier. So stick around, keep your eyes open, keep your eyes peeled for these garden videos I'll be putting out this season. We're going to try to follow it all the way through. So you've seen how I start my seeds. You see that I've got them going. By the way, those white plastic tubs are from Dollar Tree. They cost $1. And they're not styrene. They'll last, you know, they'll last a lot longer than a little black plastic crap that they sell. Another good one is these black plastic oil pan, changing oil pans that Dollar Tree sells. They're a good plastic tray to use as well. Well, I hope I've given you some ideas. I appreciate so very much that y'all are here watching my videos. Anyway, y'all have a wonderful day and a better tomorrow. Bye, everybody.